advancing to the Final Four. Alabama with the 89-82 win over Clemson. Just an efficient win. I mean, really, from the last about 8 minutes of the first half through really the rest of the game, Alabama kind of controlled it. Answered, had big-time stops when they had to get it. And it was a little iffy there at times, but they would always match Clemson's run. We traded threes there in the second half, and it looked bleak for a little bit for Alabama. They got down as much as 13 a little bit, and it looked – first half, you're just like, man, this team running out of steam. I didn't think that, but it was a little bit like, is that going to be the narrative? Make a incredible run that won the game. That last half of the first half, about 8 minutes to go, won them the basketball game. They were up at half. I remember texting people, if they got to keep it within single digits, 9 or less at halftime. Not to have a chance, but just to be in it. In these NCAA tournament games, you want to be in it in the second half. Because that's when things start to get tight. People start to tense up. That's when people kind of start, whatting down their leg. Pressure. I mean, it can build diamonds, but it also bursts pipes too. Like, in Alabama, guys like Jaron Stevenson. This is my first, literally, this is a reaction because I am looking at the box score. I looked at it half throughout the game, but really the final box score. Jaron Stevenson, I said it, without Latrell Wrightsell, someone else is going to have to step up for Alabama each night. I mean, Grant Nelson only finished with 8 after the phenomenal game in the Sweet 16 round against North Carolina. Jaron Stevenson, 7 for 11, 5 from 8 for 19 points, dude. The reclassified true freshman, I think 17, 18 years old, should be a senior in high school, stepping up in the biggest game of the year. How about that kid? Round of applause to Jaron Stevenson. It was a Nick Pringle, 11 boards. Pringle, big energy. That's what I'm going to start calling big energy, 11 boards, big time for them. I mean, Sears, I got to tell people, Mark Sears just has to see one go through the bucket. He just has to see one go through the bucket, whether it's a free throw or just a regular three-pointer or getting to the rim and finishing a layup. He just has to see it go through. Bama settled in. They got to 13 points. Didn't really feel that bad. When they got down 13, it wasn't like, man, they're just kind of getting it to them. It's just like, hey, Clemson's hitting some tough shots. Shefflin, PJ Hall hitting some tough shots there. I even thought at times RJ Godfrey hit some tough shots. I mean, he finished 5 or 6 from field. Yeah, I mean, 12 points. I mean, you take that. I mean, Ian Shefflin went for 18 points, 7 for 13. You had PJ Hall with 14. PJ Hall hurt Alabama big time in the matchup back in November, and he didn't even play a lot. This game, Bama was fine. 6 for 14, 1 for 4 from the field. He was much better than that in the first game. Give Bama's defense and just overall their ability to answer any run Clemson had from the 8-minute on in the first half through the rest of the game. It was unbelievable, man. They just never got tight. And they're going to the program's first Final Four. This team for Nate Oats, I said it all year, and people didn't really start listening until towards the end of the year. Nate Oats was under the radar until Latrell Wrightsell went out with the concussion after the Texas A&M home game. So going in their final stretch against Tennessee, Florida twice, stuff like that. Had a big game against Arkansas. I mean, Bama was struggling at that point at the end of the year. And I think people lost how much Nate Oats did from January and February with this team. This is his best coaching job. I have the video. I mean, go look at it here on the SEC Unfiltered platform. I posted it probably about a month ago at this point, maybe 3 weeks ago. Best coaching job he's had. I mean, he's had 2 Sweet 16, 2 SEC tournament, SEC regular season champions with their 2020, 2021 team, and obviously last year's team, 2022, 2023 with Brandon Miller and them. This was his best coaching job. This team is going to the Final Four. This team is going to the Final Four, and it's been someone different every night. Just for Muhammad Diabate. In the first game, they shot lights out, 60% from 3. Second game, Mo Diabate helping them get it, rebounds, second chance buckets. Second game, Grant Nelson late stepping up. Our guy, Jaron Stevenson, the true freshman, reclassified freshman. This is March Madness for you guys. Big time players stepping up in big time situations. Guys that you have been expecting to rely on all year, stepping up in these big time situations where your season is on the brink. Man, that's what makes March Madness so great. Alabama's team this year, again, their non-conference scheduling, I think, give Nate Oats credit, scheduling Purdue, Arizona, Creighton has built them up for this. I mean, I think they played, off the top of my head, 5 or 6 teams in the Sweet 16 round going into the weekend in the regular season. I mean, just set them up for success. This team's hitting on all cylinders in the right time. We're not going to preview the UConn matchup yet. I'm not going to do that yet. we'll get to it. We have a whole week to get to it. Just embrace this. The SEC getting its first SEC team in the Final Four so far this year. Tennessee's got a chance to do it tomorrow. But again, man, what a job by Nate Oats and the staff. What a job by Nate Oats and this team. People stepping up each night. It's a phenomenal job, man. You got to give this team the definition of March Madness, a good quality team. Probably the guy with the most NBA potential on the roster had the biggest game tonight, Jaren Stevenson. Didn't lead him to score, but Jaren Stevenson, the X factor tonight. The X factor tonight. Thought Bama had got stops when they needed to. I liked how they mixed it up on P.J. Hall and Shefflin with throwing different double teams and stuff at him. Just Nate Oats and his staff have done a phenomenal job game planning. From the Charleston game to the Grand Canyon game to the North Carolina game in the Sweet 16 round, then obviously Clemson here in the Final Four. I expect the same against UConn. Call me crazy. I'm not ready to say Alabama's going to beat UConn in the semifinals. Not saying that at all. I'll be interested to see what the opening line is. They played just over a year ago in the Phil Knight Invitational, and Clemson won. I mean, in Cincinnati won. Connecticut, UConn, long day. UConn is won that. They won that game. Obviously, they ended up winning the national championship on an epic run in the NCAA tournament. Dan Hurley and his team, by the way. But again, I don't think UConn's going to mess it up in a national championship game. It would be a semifinal type game against a team that can get hot. And Alabama overall, I mean, what they shoot from three. Team stats here. Bama shot 46% from the field, 3.44%. That's what the difference this game. Clemson, 30% from three. You know what was big in my opinion too? Holding Girard down, Joe Girard, holding him down. I mean, he ended up being 50% from three, but he didn't really get going until late in the second half. You know what? Bama answered every three-point shot, whether it was Riley Griffin, Jaren Stevenson, Mark Sears, stuff like that. Bama just, man, what a run by this team. No one would have betted. I had Alabama in my Elite Eight. You can go back and check the bracket, had them losing Arizona. But again, my bracket's doomed. I'm just mentioning that, not bragging it, but I had Bama in the Elite Eight. But Alabama, man, first Final Four appearance. Give it up for Nate Oats' program. Totally changes it around, man. Congratulations to the 2023-2024 University of Alabama Crimson Tide. First SEC team to punch their ticket in the Final Four. You can see Tennessee if they advance past Purdue tomorrow. We'll have a preview coming up. Man, I appreciate you joining us. What a fantastic game tonight. Again, SEC Filtered. I'm your host, Dave Shumate from Mach Sports. If you like what we're doing here, guys, SEC content 24/7, 365, whether it's continued March Madness coverage. We're guaranteed another week of this with Bama heading to Phoenix. Got SEC baseball wrapping up the second weekend with Easter Sunday starting tomorrow. Third weekend with Easter Sunday starting tomorrow. We obviously got spring football. But again, like, subscribe, hit the notification. You don't want to miss content like this. Again, Alabama heading to the Final Four, the program's first appearance. Congratulations to Nate Oats and his squad and his team.